Hello there and welcome back to another video. Now, I'd done a video this morning, thought that was going to be it, but I felt that I needed to talk about Troy Deeney's comments regarding Liverpool and the title, and different to other Liverpool fans and such like that, I'm not going in on Troy Deeney. I'm going to read off some things that he said as well, and try and make some context of it. I know that a lot of people have already decided that they don't like Troy Deeney because of this and all that sort of business, but it's not as black and white as that for me. And I'll show you where I'm coming from anyway. It's sort of 50-50 for me anyway. And then we're also going to talk about the fact that Carragher and Neville have come out and said that they're very happy for the Premier League to return, and also it's the Merseyside Derby is apparently going to be Liverpool's first fixture back after this whole long ass break that it's been for this pandemic. And I actually just completely forgot what fixture was meant to be coming up for Liverpool. I didn't realise it was the Merseyside Derby, so that's going to be pretty huge as well. But let's get into Troy Deeney's comments as well. Now, Troy Deeney was very, very largely supported just a couple of weeks ago. He had a lot of support from everybody when he was concerned about coming back and doing the socially distanced training. And he had a very, very, very good reason, probably the best reason that anyone can have during this situation. He has a 5-month-old child who was born, I think maybe prematurely, but I'm not entirely sure on that one. But what I am sure of is what he said, is that his child has, respiratory problems, breathing problems and such like that ever since he was born, and still does now. So obviously anyone that knows anything about this coronavirus and the pandemic and everything like that that's gone on, or COVID-19, whatever you want to call it, knows that it basically, if you have a respiratory or breathing problem or anything like that, it will hit you the hardest and put you at the highest risk of possibly not recovering from it. So when he come out and said that he did not want to return to work, he didn't want to return to training, and that was his reason because of it, I would be hard pressed to find anybody that wouldn't have just turned around and said, yeah, fair play, totally understandable, totally respect it. I didn't even question it for a second, and I still don't. Now, he's come out and he said he's willing to, he's had some government talks, or he's spoken to some MPs or government representatives, and he's now happy to think about coming back to work and coming back to training with all the regulations and practices that are all in place for them. It seems that he's going to be on his way back, and that is also a positive as well. That's a positive for him. It's a positive for football as well. It's a positive for his club, that he's turned around and he said, you know what, I've spoke to people, I've looked at the situation, I've had it explained to me so many times, or I've had bit more knowledge about what is actually happening, testing and such like that. But yeah, he's taken that information on board, and now he feels like he's in a position where he's like, I think I can come back safely, healthily, and I won't put my child at harm. Then that's a massive positive. Now, he's come out in the last couple of days talking about the integrity of the league. Now, a couple of months ago, maybe even a couple of weeks ago, the integrity of the league meant to a lot of different things to different people. I took it, my personal opinion of the integrity of the league was, if it was to be finished and you were able to play the games, and finish them neutral grounds, or whether you play home and away and there's obviously no fans or anything like that, if you're able to do that and finish the remaining games as they are for everybody, and everyone's got, a fair playing field, everyone's got their players, all that sort of business, they're able to play the 90 minutes or whatever they decide on with 5 substitutes and all that business, then for me, that is still an integrity-led finishing of the competition, in my opinion. A lot of people don't agree with that. They think that the integrity of the league, or they believe or their opinion is that the league integrity is abound with the fans in the stadium and such like that. It sort of is, but when you come down to what the integrity of sport is, it is finishing something that you've started. That was always going to be, when the FA and the Premier League came out, maybe a couple of weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks maximum, and they came out and said that no matter what, this season will not just be null and void, it will not be cancelled, and it will not just be wiped from the history records. You knew somehow this league was going to be finished. The worst way for it to have happened would have been points per game. If you weren't able to play the games in a physical form, and you just went by points per game and you averaged it out, and people got relegated without being able to fight for it, all that sort of stuff, people winning a title or whatever without actually playing for it, people questioned that integrity, and that integrity was right to be questioned, because it's always based on what could happen. What has happened is trying to predict what will happen, and that is not always the case. It really isn't always the case. Take Liverpool, for example. First, 26 games of the season, unbelievable, fantastic. But when we came up, when we were coming into March, before Atletico Madrid and stuff like that, our form was starting to slip. Our form was starting to drop just a little bit. What would have happened if the season had carried on and we play against Everton and we don't pick up a result there, and we don't pick up a result in the next game or something, or we don't pick up a win? What happens then? Predicting what will happen from what has happened isn't always fair when you come down to things like form, and that the same goes for relegation. And that was their biggest thing. That was their biggest argument, was relegation. They wanted to argue that relegation should be taken off the table. But now that everyone seems to have a fairly fair playing field, relegation will probably still happen, as far as I'm aware. Europa League places, Champions League places, and the champions of the league will be able to be fought for. And those that want to stay in the league as well, avoid relegation, will get the chance to fight, because it is tight down there. Apart from Norwich, it's tight with a couple of teams, at least 2 or 3, that are on 27 points each. And there could be a lot of bouncing between all those clubs down there. So anyway, I get what he was talking about when he says, when points per game and such like that, saying the integrity is gone. What I don't agree with is when Troy Deeney comes out and says the integrity is gone. He says he feels sorry for Liverpool, even though they deserve the title, they deserve the trophy, no matter how it goes and how it plays out. And I'm just slightly reading off some things that I've wrote down of what he said. It's the year that's spoiled by the pandemic. It's not going to be the year where Liverpool won the league after 30 years. There's no way you could say that this is a viable competition, like running a marathon for 20 miles, stopping for 2 months, then sprinting the last bit, and going about saying, that was a good time, that. I'm with him a little bit. I understand what he means when he says this is going to be the year that is not necessarily ruined by the pandemic. Football hasn't been ruined by the pandemic yet. Financially, it will be. Financially, it will have a massive impact. But when you're able to finish the league, you're able to finish the FA Cup, you're going to be able to finish the Europa League and the Champions League as well, the integrity is still there. The integrity would be lost if it was on a points per game basis, or if it was on average things, performances taken from earlier on in the season, and you want to take that and put it to what could happen, which would open up so many probably legal problems and such like that as well. You're seeing as well, La Liga are going to be coming back on I think they're coming back on the 12th of June or something like that, or maybe even the 8th of June, so they're coming back in 2 weeks. Serie A are coming back on the 20th of June as well, which will be the weekend of the Premier League coming back as well. Premier League is coming back on the 17th, with playing the catch-up games first, the people that have got games in hand. Bundesliga is already 2 to 3 weeks in. They are playing their games actively. I think from what I remember hearing, or what I remember seeing just off the top of my head right now, is the Eredivisie and Ligue 1 are actually sort of thinking, shit, we decided too quickly to end our leagues. And I don't know whether they're actually starting to consider whether they could bring their leagues back, but I imagine that will create a whole host of problems, along with all of the problems they've created by ending their leagues early, by wanting to try and resume their leagues now, because they're seeing the other leagues, the other big European leagues, come back and play. So what I think about Troy Deeney's comments is I'm 50-50 with him. I know what he means when he's saying, he literally says it's going to be the year that's spoiled by the pandemic. No one's going to remember that this is a very, very good Liverpool team that have won a title after 30 years. Now, my personal opinion of that, as a Liverpool fan, is Liverpool fans will remember this, and they will celebrate it as well. We will remember this for a very, very long time, because it has been a very, very long time since we've won a First Division title. Forget Premier League in name, a First Division title. It has been a long, long time. We will remember it, Now, whether other people decide to remember that or not, or whether they decide to put an asterisk next to it, whatever they want to do, that doesn't matter to me. I don't care what a United fan thinks, City fan, Chelsea fan, Arsenal fan, everybody else down the leagues, other European leagues or whatever. I don't care what anybody else thinks of Liverpool. I really don't. I care what I think about Liverpool. I care what my family think about Liverpool because they're Liverpool supporters as well. And other Liverpool supporters as well. Like, I care what we all think, and we will all remember this. We will all. It doesn't matter whether Troy Deeney wants to say whether he wants to remember it or whatever he wants to remember this year for. That doesn't matter to me, and I don't think it matters to, if you're a Liverpool fan watching this, I don't think it matters to you. His comments are relevant in terms of, yes, the coronavirus has been horrible. The pandemic has been absolutely horrible. COVID-19 has been horrible. I know it's all the same, but it's been awful. It's been horrible. It's devastating. People are losing jobs. People are sat at home. People are inside their house. In some cases, are inside four walls for so long. And it's debilitating and it's demoralising sometimes. But we will remember what our team have done. Let's not also forget that this is a Liverpool team before this pandemic, before the coronavirus, COVID-19 and anything like that. And I know Man City had a game in hand. They haven't played the same amount as us. But we were already 25 points ahead at this point in the season. Now, if you choose not to remember how good this Liverpool team were, then that's on you. That's fine. If you choose to use the coronavirus and COVID-19 and the pandemic and everything like that to say that Liverpool aren't a good team, Liverpool haven't been one of the best teams in Premier League history down to performance and such like that, then that's on you. Up until all sport was stopped and paused or whatever, Liverpool were the best team in Europe. Yes, we got knocked out of the Champions League, but in terms of performances at the top of our leagues, in terms of La Liga, Bundesliga, everyone, no one has done as good as us. So if you choose to say that Liverpool aren't one of the best teams, then that's your opinion. You are well entitled to it. It's an opinion. Opinions can't be right or wrong, really. In the, down to the nth degree, it can't be. That you're entitled to your opinion, that's absolutely fine. But we are entitled to ours. We know where we were before all of this. 25 points clear at the top of the Premier League. If you choose not to respect that, hey, that's on you. Maybe in a couple of years you might respect it, or we'll see what happens in the next football season as well, and whether we can back it up and prove that we are the best team right now. Now, Merseyside Derby, unreal that is on the first weekend back. I genuinely forgot that the Merseyside Derby was on the first weekend back. I know that Everton I think they've got Andre Gomez has come back because he had that horrific injury from Heung-min Son. And it's good to see someone like that come back from an injury, and he'll hopefully be ready to play for them because he looks like a very good player. I don't want him to play well against Liverpool, but I also did not want to see the lad injured or anything like that either. So it's very, very good to see that he's come back from injury. But I do believe that Gabamin, or however you say his name, is injured again for another 6 months. So I think he's played 2 games for Everton since he moved there. And by all means, he's a pacey, defensive mid or centre mid. He's very pacey, he's very physical, but he's only played 2 games for Everton, and they'll probably be gutted by his exclusion. Not his exclusion, or the fact that he won't be there. But Everton are a dangerous team. Under Carlo Ancelotti, they will be a dangerous team. They'll be a hard team, and we've struggled against Carlo Ancelotti teams, even recently. Napoli, and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he has been absolutely exceptional since this year, to be honest. Richarlison looks pretty damn good as well. Look, I will do full previews and that for Liverpool, Everton, and other Premier League games as well. Once it gets closer, I want to wait until the Monday of that week. The 17th is the first day, so I want to wait until the 15th of June to do previews. I don't want to start doing previews now because there's still 2 weeks, just a bit more than 2 weeks, where things could change, and I don't want to start doing previews right now for games that are more than 2 weeks away in case something happens. I don't want to jump the gun. I don't want to do anything like that. But hey, Merseyside Derby when we get back, does it get better than that? I don't know. You got Man City and Arsenal are playing as well on the Wednesday night, as well as Aston Villa and Sheffield United, and that'll be two games that are vital for all the teams involved as well. So look, it's if and when the Premier League comes back, and if it does come back on the 17th of June, it's going to be action packed from minute one right the way through until all 92 games are played as well. And obviously another key thing here is that all broadcasters seem to be getting in on the action. BBC, Amazon Prime, Sky Sports, BT Sports. There's probably another one in there as well. Like I think Gary Neville said, you're getting TV providers that haven't even paid to screen or show the Premier League, and they're getting the opportunity to. But it's more of a, we're giving this to the fans. So those that already buy BT, like myself, and Sky Sports, like myself, and maybe those that don't will get to see it for free. Like the BBC, I don't know if ITV are going to get involved, but Amazon Prime and such like that. It's going to be huge, the fact that we're all going to be able to watch them. Yes, it's gutting that the fans can't actually go to the stadium or anything like that, but the reality is the situation is what it is. It's unprecedented. We've not seen anything like this in modern history. I say modern history, I shouldn't say stuff like that, because modern history can go back hundreds of years, but you know what I mean. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. That is definitely it for the weekend now. I'm going to chill out. Quite literally, I'm getting my aircon turned on, and I'm not turning it off until the sun goes away. Hope you have a good weekend ahead of you, whatever you're doing. Please stay safe, stay well, look after each other and look after yourself. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll catch you later.